Hello everyone and welcome to another council update. Today we are talking about two important topics happening in our community right now. The 80th Street Rehabilitation Project and the city's new e-bike ordinance. And joining us today to talk about those topics is Councilmember Dave Clausen. So Councilmember Clausen, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me today.
How are you today?
I'm doing well.
Awesome. Glad to hear. Well, Councilmember Clausen, why don't we start out and talk about the 80th Street Rehabilitation Project? Residents have definitely noticed the construction activity. And so can you explain just what is happening with this project and what it includes and why it's so important?
80th Street is one of our major east-west roads in the city. And it's well past its useful life. And we need to update this important infrastructure. And we're going to, just update the safety, the lighting, and make it a better road.
Nice. And anything you can add about the Highway 61 ramps that are happening over on 80th Street?
Yes, along with this, we're able to coordinate with MnDOT and their project to work on the ramps of Highway 61 is also ongoing. So right now the ramps, the north side of 80th Street are closed as you get on and off Highway 61.
I think they closed today as we are recording this.
Yes, they did. Serves. I just drove by there today.
Yeah. So definitely take that to note as you're heading to that area. And of course, construction we know can be disruptive to everyone. So what would you like residents to know as this work continues?
Yeah, first and foremost, thank you to everybody, the businesses, the residents. This is going to be a long-term project that will benefit the community for years to come. We encourage everyone to plan ahead. There's going to be detours. They're going to be changing from week to week. Just patience, allow for some extra time, and we'll get through this.
We absolutely will. And are there any major milestones or impacts that residents should be aware of in the coming weeks? Yeah,
we talked about Highway 61 ramps are going to be open and closing. So the ramps are going to be, the north ramps are going to be closed for about 8 to 10 weeks. And then once that gets complete, they're going to switch to the south side ramps. This is significant, and it's, again, patience. You're going to have to find a new route. If you used 80th Street, just plan on using 70th Street or Jamaica, and you'll be able to get to your destination.
And I'd be remiss to not add in, head to 80thstreetcg.com to get project updates and figure out where you're heading next in terms of finding alternate routes and what's open and what's closed.
You can put your email in there, and you will get at least, I think, a weekly update.
A weekly update, yep. That is correct. So why don't we just switch gears a little bit and talk about the city's e-bike ordinance. So e-bikes have, of course, become increasingly popular both for recreation and transportation. And so can you tell us why the city and the city council specifically felt it was important to address e-bikes now?
Yeah, e-bikes are growing in popularity across the communities everywhere, including here in Cottage Grove. As their use increases, it's important that we have clear rules in place to promote safety for the riders and the pedestrians. And we have to establish some expectations of where they can operate, ensure that people are in the right place on the parks and on the sidewalks, and so everybody can use the trails.
And do so safely.
And safely, right? Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. So what are some of the key things residents should know about the ordinance?
The ordinance generally aligns with Minnesota state law and helps clarify how e-bikes are categorized and where they can be used. It addresses things like trail usage, rider behavior, safety expectations. And our goal is not to discourage e-bike use. In fact, we really support the alternate sort of transportation. But you have to do it responsibly and safely.
And so, Councilmember Clausen, what message would you like to leave with residents regarding both of these topics?
So, Phil, I'd say this. As Cottage Grove continues to grow and evolve, and with that comes the need to invest in our infrastructure and update some of our policies, like our ordinances, to meet the needs of the community. Whether it's improving our roads or addressing new transportation needs, trends like e-bikes, the City Council remains focused on safety, quality of life, and planning for the future. And we appreciate the residents staying informed and engaged throughout this process.
Well, Councilmember Clausen, thank you so much for joining us and for the update.
Thank you.
And thank you all for watching this council update. Stay connected with us online and on social media for future updates and announcements. And thanks as always to True Lens Community Media for producing these videos, and we will see you next time.